Hello everyone, this is KTH77 and welcome to day 14 of the Vita video every day in April. And yeah, I've been kind of slacking, kind of letting myself get shockingly close to the deadline or just flat out past the deadline and throwing things together to get a proper video out. Now a little bit is the fact that I'm just a little bit busy with a project for school for this weekend, so I can't really dedicate myself to a slightly more ambitious Vita video. But yes, I'm going to fully admit I just have those problems of putting off working on stuff. I'm also going to, whine and complain. It's getting hot here in California, and I'm all warm and uncomfortable and don't want to work on a video today. Yeah, not going to hold it up as a legitimate excuse. But I am going to say that the heat does kind of drain your will to put work into stuff. But hopefully later this week I'll be able to get some slightly more interesting Vita videos. But at least in the meantime, at least take the time to make sure I just make these very vloggy type videos at the very least. Because I could at least do that to complete the challenge. Because I really want to complete this challenge because I first learned about this challenge from Dr. Terawatt, known as a different name up until about a year ago, but still. And I feel like at this point, at first I'm just super stoked I started them, but if I give up, I will lose to him. And I do not want to lose to a supervillain. It's really goofy and dumb and harkens back to my freaking DeviantArt, fan art, self-insert, OC, early years nonsense, but I do kind of feel like by making these Vitas, it's like a first step in fighting against a supervillain. If that, it doesn't make sense, but it's one of those things that doesn't make sense, but you feel it in your gut. Kind of like my early teenage years was filled with me seeing all these characters like what Dr. Terawatt used to be, or Linkara's videos, and all these other people and their crossovers and their cool stuff, and it's like, I want to be a part of those crossovers. I want to interact with that world. And while at this point in my life, I've given up on... It's also the same back in 2005 with all the Flash animators at that time. And there's all those crossovers, there's something about Halo or The Matrix Still Has You, of these communities and their crossovers and stuff. I've given up hope of ever being able to have that kind of crossover, those kinds of interactions, that kind of feeling of awesome community. That was an accident. I didn't mean to make that reference of Channel Awesome, how it's not awesome anymore. Whatever. At the very least, I feel like by making these Vitas, I'm able to take my first step of fighting and defeating Dr. Terawatt, because it's you're not the only one who can make a video every day. I can do it too. And this year I struggle on it. I have a hard time. I get beaten up, but then you know what? I don't give up, and I get up and I'm bloodied. I wipe the blood from my lip, and I'm like, I'll train and become stronger. And then next year, maybe I'll be even better. And eventually I'll be able to have that final confrontation. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm not a loser anymore. And that also brings up a really interesting, at least I find it interesting, idea. As an animator, I can animate anything. I mean, it's just like a writer can write anything. That's how Ready Player One came around. This guy just wrote a book and threw in every pop culture reference he enjoyed into one insane book and then passed that off. And the thing is, as an animator and someone with at least a basic capacity of sequential art and drawing and stuff, I can draw and I can animate anything I want. Because another thing that, like, for you, one thing you'll probably learn from these videos is I have a lot of hang-ups. I'm a bit of a sick puppy. I'm going to admit that right now. I'm not trying to claim that I'm at all normal or stable or anything. I have things I need to work through. But, again, a few years ago, I discovered one of my favorite web animators of all time, Zirl, or Joshua Palmer. And it always feels weird when I say a person's real name, but then it's like, I found out about it on the internet. It's not hidden. He's pretty open. Whatever. Bloopity blue, Zirl. He's an animator. He is gosh diggity gone talented, really good. What I really liked from his work was his OCT original character tournament entries with the character Black Ace / Spoiler, and just when I watched those, it interacted that same part of me that really admired the community of animators in 2005 and the community of like YouTube and blip producers like 5 years ago or so. This idea of like in these OCTs, like everyone's characters would like battle each other and interact with like different artists, and like I just at that point I kind of felt one of the greatest honors there could possibly be would it be have my character get completely mauled by Black Ace, which is, again, it's weird, right? But just, I guess that's probably one of the biggest things about me is my desire to be a part of a community of creative people. It's just a thing I just really desire. It's that and my fear of just yelling into the void and my voice just vanishing into the void. Those are like my two sort of weird fears that I shouldn't get so hung up on, but I do get hung up on a lot. But the thing is, as an animator or an artist, I don't need to like cooperate with Zirl to have a fight scene with his character. I can just do it. I could just draw or animate it. And is that wrong? Is that okay? I'm not sure. And I'm sure the Ready Player One, before he could sell his book, had to secure copyrights and all that junk, you know, or at least trademarks and all that. But like, I'm not sure if Black Ace is properly copyrighted and filed. I'm not sure if Joseph Blanchett's characters, Ark and Kerrigan, are properly copyrighted, or if Gherkin Man is properly filed with a copyright, or Linkara has a proper copyright on them. And even if they were, if I were to animate them doing stuff, I would not sell it. If I wasn't selling it, if I wasn't making a monetary profit off of it, is it okay? I didn't get the original creator's permission. I didn't let them like approve on how they behave. I could just animate them doing whatever. Does that mean I should if I really want to? I mean, kind of what I'm compromising on is like the idea of sort of, if I want to explore these kinds of themes that have mean so much to me, because that's a thing in art. That's a thing in art. That's a big thing in art, is the communication of very personal messages. And I've had such strong feelings about these communities and stuff that I kind of feel like I really need to create something with that as the driving creative force behind it, because I really want to express such a strong emotion. So I'm thinking about like just sort of making those like Captain Airstadt, or however you pronounce that, just basically they have the feature so that if you know what I'm referencing, you can figure out what I'm referencing, but they are like distinct enough to not be copyright infringing. And the really weird thing is like stuff like Marvel Comics, they have like that, they have a version of that of the Justice League. They have like the non-copyright infringing Justice League, and I'm pretty sure that DC has the non-copyright infringing Avengers. But even then, it just really makes me wonder, what makes it okay? How different does it have to be okay? And me, as someone who is creating something that will not be profited on, with characters who are not even being properly copyrighted, like, what does it mean? Where is okay and where is not okay? I mean, just from a personal standpoint of my moral feelings on it, is I don't want to use other people's characters without their permission, but I like the idea of creating those references to those characters of like, you know who this is essentially being, and I am making it from like a place of respect. Like, I wouldn't go and take a character of someone who I hate the person who made the character and I hate the characters, like, mwahaha, I'm going to besmirch these characters. I want to avoid being a mean slanderous. It's coming out of a place of love for what they did and what they stand for, and it's just like, I don't know. I legit don't know. I'm just some guy making videos for the internet.